But with beagles, they're going to bring it back around. So there's no reason to do that. Plus, when you got multiple dogs on the ground, and I have a video that I posted from last season, which is exactly why you don't jump one dog out there. You just don't get as much feedback from the dogs, so you might not always catch things that are happening. And then one day they're just going to go. And one day you'll hear that voice.
I'm your host, Stevie Thomas for Bawlin Out Kennels, where we help new and beginning handlers create, explore, and perfect the art of hunt dog training through stories, tips, and techniques, and the proper mindset to get you started on the right track. So I got a special guest on the podcast today, and this has been my friend for a few years now.
Yeah.
Ryan Elson, and he is all about beagles. He is all about beagles. I know Ryan has been with many dogs through the course of his life, but he has ate up with beagles just like me and probably a lot of y'all listening. We got another person here that truly loves the sport of rabbit hunt with beagles. So I want to introduce my buddy here, Ryan.
How's it going? I think it's been about 9 years now. Murphy was just a little 7-month-old puppy. Yeah. So,
yeah, we actually met through Facebook, if I remember right.
Yeah. I just got a really young started puppy from Mississippi, Beagles on Fire. And I didn't have anybody else. I didn't know anything about rabbit hunting, and I just went on Facebook groups in Iowa and was just looking for other people with beagles to get him out with, so he'd get some pack experience, since he was just my only dog at the time, only beagle at the time. I had a couple, like Yorkie and a lab mix at home, but yeah.
So you reached out to me on Facebook, and I remember, and this, we always talk about it here. Just that Facebook, man, it can be a great tool if you use it the right way. And we always try to talk about, getting people to reach out to other people on Facebook. We're over here, we really, try to focus on the new and beginning handlers, trying to give them, a place that they can learn about something they never learned about. And mainly we talk about hunting beagles. We talk about coon dogs, my leopard curs. I'm biased about it. I'm sure you've seen them today. I love my leopards, and just getting into bird dogs a little bit. But we really want a place that new and beginning people who are starting to find rabbit hunting with beagles, it's starting to become more popular. Trying to give them a place that, hey, these are some guys you can reach out to and get some information from.
Yeah, I mean, and most of the beaglers that you run into on local groups and stuff like that, they're more than willing to help new people out. I mean, we love these dogs. We'll talk about them for hours. Don't get us started on it. You'll never get us shut up. So if anybody ever wants to come out and check it out, see what it's like, most beaglers are going to be pretty all right with letting you do that. So, yeah.
So, I remember old Murphy. I remember he came up, we hunted for the first time in one of my favorite spots, the Sweets Marsh. And again, I never met you, you never met me or any of that sort of stuff. And we kind of hit it off, and we hunt, from then, many years after that. But seeing, how Murphy is developed and all the rest of the dogs you got now, which we'll get into. I want to hear all about that. At least want to let the people know about it.
Yeah, I got a litter off of Murphy, and then Lou that I got from you. So, and those dogs have done awesome. So,
You want to tell us a little bit about, we'll talk about your main, let's say pick your main three, not to disrespect another dog that you got, but pick your main three. Just tell us a little bit about, what type of dog they are, what you like about them.
All right. It's hard to just pick like my main three. My pack is pretty well matched. But Murphy's kind of more southern style. He's not as fast. He's not as, he's not slow, but, he's not that run for your front. He's got pretty good line control. he's got a big nose. He doesn't lose very many rabbits and stuff like that. And then you got Lou, that's coming from that turbo stuff, and Benny, and just drives the heck out of a line. Big old gritty dog, and um, those two just work so well together. So I bred those two and had the puppies, then started my, the original Dirty Beagle crew, or those 4 pups I kept out of that litter. And so that'd be Randy. Dirty Randy got some candy. He's grand champion now. Old Dirty Beagle, we call him Odie. He's grand champion now. And
And I gotta stop, man. You always got some of the coolest names for your dogs, man. I gotta start calling you, hey Ryan, I need a name for a pup. Won't you hook me up with one?
yeah,
But go ahead.
I think for a long time, and I write it down, and I say it, see if it gets old. You know what I mean? But I do. And then I got Dirty Deeds, Reasonable Rates is the other one that I compete with a lot. Hunting Beagle champion. She's working on grand. We're getting there.
What's up, Bawlin Out Kennels family? Hey, I got a deal going on right now to where you can buy one Bawlin Out Kennel signature tee and you can get 2 extras. That's 3 shirts. So I got the bundle going on, and I only made a select few. I probably only have about 70 left now. But you can go to ballinoutkennels.com and grab it. We got a variety of sizes, a variety of colors. And if you grab a bundle, why don't you take a few pictures and show them for the Bawlin Out Kennels family? Are you repping? I appreciate your support. And let's keep this thing rolling. Again, that's ballinoutkennels.com and grab your signature Bawlin Out Kennels tee bundle. Buy one, get 2.
But she's more Tess's dog. I let Tess handle that one for the most part. Sweet Lou's my girl.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. She's a grand champion now too. So, yep.
Lou's been at it for a while, and Lou's a litter mate to my dog Tater. I know some people watch some of the videos I post on there, and they always, man, that dog has a really good mouth, that screaming mouth. Well, she got it from her mom, screaming like it hurts Ava.
Yep.
When you hear her, I mean, it sounds like you stepped on the back of her tail, and she's just yelping out, but it gets you excited every time.
Yeah. My daughter Maury, so she sounds like a dying pterodactyl. So, and so many people have come out with Sweet Lou thinking there's a dog stuck in a trap or something, and it's like, nope, she's just having the time of her life right now. And then the other one from that litter of puppies out of Murphy and Lou is Dirty Tricks, Questionable Morals. And we don't really do competitions with Tricks. She's easily one of the best dogs I've got as far as hunting dogs, but she's a little shy around newer dogs. And she will warm up and she'll go out with them. It takes her a good little while, which makes competition hunting pretty hard because you only got 60 to 90 minutes to do it. So unless she was going to get cast with a bunch of dogs she was already familiar with, she wouldn't compete the greatest. But she screams just like Sweet Lou. She's just, so you get both those ones out there, and it's great.
Exciting.
Yep.
I've had it too, man, because I hunt a lot of public, and I know you hunt some public too, to where, and our other buddy Nick, we were hunting one time, and again, Ava's out there, and Tater was still young, but old enough to run, all that sort of stuff. You get them two together, it sounds like somebody got a hold of something out in the woods, and we had a lady come, and we heard her coming from a long ways away, speed walking through the trail, and she come like, what's going on? And I'm like, we're rabbit hunting? Well, it sounds like something's dying out here. He's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting to hear him because those dogs get so excited, and it puts a smile on your face just to hear that unique voice where really they're giving it everything they got, man. And that's what I love so much about these beagles, especially when you get them in a pack. They're competing with each other, but it's a healthy competition where they're having fun, man, and they're with their pack. They just let it all go.
Yep. And I do love that about my pack too, is that they're, it's mom, dad, and 4 pups out of that cross, and so they just work so well together. They just mesh. They're so similar. You know what I mean? And I really love that cross because Murphy brought some stuff to the table that maybe Lou didn't have, and they're just really well balanced, and they've shown that in competition and everything. They're very consistent dogs. So yeah.
So what led you to, and we'll get into, because we train very similar, like our mentalities, but we also have some differences. We used to talk about this a lot. I know when you're first getting going, all that sort of stuff, just the questions and amount you learn on your own. But when you saw Murphy and you saw Lou, and you decided to make that cross, what were you trying to accomplish with that? Or like, what traits of these dogs did you see that you were hoping to put in the litter?
I think the biggest thing that I saw with that cross was just how well they were very obviously different dogs in the way that they hunted, but complementary. You know what I mean? Because that first year, when Lou was between 1 year and 2 years old, so she'd had a season in and she'd hunted some, but that next year when she actually really knew what she was doing and was going on with a little experience, and Murphy was between 2 and 3, I think we harvested something like 76, 78 rabbits in front of just those 2 dogs, and they just put it together. And it was, you just, like, the one could do it on their own, but together it was just like, you guys better look out, rabbits, they're coming, and there's not going to be.
And I remember quite a bit, the videos you would send me, like the pictures. I mean, y'all were tearing it up. And, we get a lot of people, too, just starting out. They ask a lot. I was like, man, how many dogs should I get just starting out? And what do you think about? I always tell them, hey, if you can manage running 2, yes, you can do it with 1. But if you can manage running with 2, that exact thing you just talked about is why I try to put it. But what do you think? If somebody's just starting out, how many dogs would you suggest?
I think 2 is a good place to start. I mean, 1 is tough. 1 is tough, especially if it's a pretty green started dog, like I started with Murphy. And 1, it's really hard to start with just 1 because you don't know all that much about what's going on. The biggest thing I always tell everybody too when you're starting out is it's a language that you got to, you can't understand those dogs right away, but the more time you spend with them, you start to pick up on the way they talk to you, their body language, what's going on. You get kind of a sense to that. And when you only have 1 dog out there, you just don't get as much feedback from the dogs. So you might not always catch things that are happening. And then, you can kind of let dogs develop a bad habit. And I definitely did that with Mercy. And I spent a lot of time going back and working on some things, and we got him cleaned up pretty good. Murphy's a good boy, but yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much the same thing I try to tell them too. And if you are at any point looking to hunt with somebody else, sometimes hunt with just that 1 dog. Those dogs don't like to pack.
Yeah,
and that's a big topic. I know that's in the Beagle world is running solo versus running in a group. I kind of lean towards, hey, if I can put this pup with some dogs and run them, and that pup shows me, 1, that they're big enough, they're strong enough, and they're mentally strong enough to handle what's going on with the pack. Before I even take them, I've already evaluated that, okay, if I turn this dog loose with a big pack, he may be a little shy to start, but they're going to go. Like, eventually it's going to happen, doing all that stuff at home. So what are your approach as far as, hunting them solo or starting them solo or starting them with the pack?
I like to go out and start them with the group. You know what I mean? I like to go out and get, 1, it's hard. I think jumping rabbits is one of the toughest things for the dogs to learn, and they don't want to really range out and everything. So just getting them time on, especially if you're not doing like a starting pen or a running pen or anything like that, you're trying to start them in the wild. If you've got a dog that's going to go out there, jump that rabbit, and run it in front of them, it's going to make it a lot easier for you. So just running them with at least 1 or 2 experienced dogs is going to make things a whole lot easier to get those dogs figuring out what they're supposed to be doing and what they're supposed to be after. So that's kind of how I like to do it. And then I kind of think the same thing. Soloing's great. I do a lot of soloing when I'm getting a dog ready for competition, especially if they're starting to get a little wild, because that pack pressure, they want to run the front. They can start to get loose. They can start to run rough, especially with some of the faster type of dogs in like these faster formats like UKC and PKC and ABC, where speed and drive is a big way they score. That can get loose pretty quick. And so if you take them out and solo them, if they're running loose, there's no other dogs to fix it, and so it'll fix that. But other than that, I don't really do a lot of soloing. I like to brace them, 3-packs, stuff like that.
I hope you're enjoying the episode, but did you know people are becoming more interested in rabbit hunting with beagles, but might not know how to start? Don't worry, I got your back. I wrote a book called Producing a Future Rabbit Dog. In this book, I talk about proven concepts, tips, and techniques that I've been using for the last 10 years on all my rabbit dogs. If you're looking for easy to follow information and a guide to get you started on the right track, go to bawlinoutKennels.com and grab your copy. That's Bawlin Out Kennels, BAWLINOUT Kennels.com. Your future rabbit dog awaits. Let's get back to the episode.
In season, I like to just dump the box,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and just let them roll. So
We do that a lot, when we get together and hunt and stuff like that. We always text each other, hey, how many dogs you bringing? How many dogs you bring? Hey, I'm bringing all mine. Well, I'm bringing all mine. Hey, well, we're about to get after it. We've done it a few times, and you talk about the fun, and yeah, maybe a little loose. We'll keep it honest, but it's so much fun that usually we see when it's loose, it's in the very beginning. Everybody's amped up. Everybody's wound. They're got new dogs. They're doing, everything's going on. But man, when them dogs settle in together, there's hardly any rabbit that's getting lost between the compliments of your pack, which is a great pack, compliments of what I'm running. Like, they just work. So there's very few rabbits that are getting lost. We're gonna miss more times than the dogs are missing.
Yeah, and when we got out and we're out, 8, not like sun up until sun sets. Once those dogs are the 15-mile mark, they're starting to, like, they just can't run like that anymore. You got to wear them down to the point where they can't run too fast and too loose anymore. So, whatever it takes.
So I know you're actually up here in my area getting a pup. So I want to kind of transition a little bit, because that's another good question I get. I'm sure you get it too. It's just, okay, what do you even look for in a big? Like, I'm a person that I'm curious about beagles, rabbit hunting with beagles. I've seen it on YouTube or I've seen it on Facebook, and I want to try to get into it. Where should I even start in looking for a pup?
I mean, for a first dog, if you've never had a beagle, getting a started pup is a really good idea, I think, just because that can be really difficult to do on your own without one. And if you do get a pup, find somebody that's can help you get it started. You know what I mean? And I've started a handful here for some other people here just recently, to just, I didn't charge any money or anything, just did it because I like to do it. So, friends of mine. So, that's always a good option too. But if you're just trying to figure out which pup is your pick type of thing, like that, I don't know that there's really a right way to do it. It's always kind of just a shot in the dark. I think the biggest thing is to kind of make sure where they're coming from genetic-wise, that the dogs are coming out of are dogs that you would want to hunt with too. You know what I mean? And then most of the time, you're going to end up with something that's going to work for you. I think if you're pretty familiar with the parents. That's why I have a hard time getting dogs from people across the country. I haven't seen those dogs run. So, my most recent pup before the one I picked up today is out of Jason Unzicker's dogs, and I've run with his dogs so many times in competition, and out together we've gone and hunted and everything. And so I really have a lot of respect for Copper and Shy and the bloodlines that Jason's running. So I put my name on that list for that first female out of that litter, and yeah, I think he had 7 dogs and 1 female. And he kept sending me updates. I got one. Is it a female? No. Is it a female? No. And then finally, it's like, all right.
There you go.
It made an easy choice though, because there was only 1 female. So Jammy, that's the one we got. Rocky Run, Pump Up the Jam is what we named her. So
There you go with the names again.
So yep, Jammy Jam. Yep. And then the one that I got today is out of Chris Holthouse's one that just beat Lou out for female hound of the year, opposite sex hound of the year. So she's a good dog if you can beat Lou. Hella, Willow Creek Hella. And I think that she crossed her to Yang's Ace of Spades. I'd have to look at the thing, but they're kind of Green Bay inspired hair dogs, you know. But yeah, I'm pretty familiar with Hella, and not as much with the sire in that litter, but yeah, we're gonna see how she turns out, and I think she's gonna do good. She's shown me a lot already. She's super brave.
Yeah, I saw her today, and I don't know if she's been in the box before today or none of that sort of stuff, but I know Chris and his boys, they do very well, and I hope to have them on a podcast here soon, but they do very well as far as handling the dogs, doing the small things when they're young to get them to be, brave and comfortable and familiar with strange things and strange places. They do an excellent job with some of that sort of stuff. But yeah, for being that small, 8 weeks old, right? 8, 9.
I think 9.
She was in the box. She tried to come out, just walk right up. Wanted to come right out and just be. I told you right away. I'm like, oh yeah. She looks good, and
yeah,
the way she acts.
She's got pretty good conformation. That's one of the things that I do look at too. If I can't, for when you're picking a pup out of that just for the individual litter, I don't know if it really means anything, but the one with the longest ears, that's the one that I want. Mm-hmm. The floppier the ears, the better. That's why I got Randy. There's a couple reasons why I kept Randy out of my litter of pups, but he had the longest, floppiest ears, and I was like, I don't know that we can get rid of that one, because those ears are touching the ground. Yeah. Like, that's awesome. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I told him, man, we think very similar as far as that go, and I told him, man, look, pick the one that looks best to you.
Yep.
And the reason I say this, if you find something that you find visually appealing, like you like the looks of that dog, you're going to be more apt to spend more time with it and give it a chance versus picking something where you're kind of like, whatever. Those traits right there would be more apt for you to be like, I don't want this dog. Yeah. But if you pick something, and like you said, it's a shot in the dark for the most part, but if you pick from a good mom and dad, if you got a good line of dogs, it increases your odds so much, and then you put the time into it, it dang near doubles your odds of turning them into something. Yeah. So what are some of the steps then that you do? So after, let's say you got your pup and you get to the point where you can start fooling with them a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's say the 3-month, 4-month area. What are some of the things you like to start on getting them prepared to start hunting?
Well, right away, as soon as I get them, the rabbit's foot on the string and stuff like that, as soon as they're big enough to chase a rabbit's foot on a string, 3-4 weeks, you know what I mean, if I bred them, but if I got them from somebody else, the 8 weeks, we're going to do that, and then, 8 weeks old, I'm usually pretty comfortable with letting them sight chase a domestic rabbit around the backyard, just getting them some experience chasing something that looks like a rabbit, and letting them do that. And I'm going to take them out and put them on those rabbits that sit out in my backyard at dinner time at dusk, go put them right on that hot track and let them smell, and they'll usually get pretty birdy and want to chase that, stuff like that. Just getting them experience with that. By the time they're 12 weeks old, give or take, they're usually big enough that a tracking collar is going to fit on them and not fall off. And that's pretty much my metric for when I'm going to start taking them to the field, is as soon as I can get one of my tracking collars on them. We're just going to go, and if they don't do anything, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But they can go with me. They'll follow me around. They'll get excited. This one's going to chase these dogs immediately. She was already trying to. I had her on the leash while I was running Randy and Dee Dee. She was tugging on the slip lead and everything. I'm like, I don't have a collar on you at all. I don't even have a collar for you yet. And she slipped at the slip lead once. I had to go chase her down and grab her because she was trying to run out to the dogs and everything already. So, yeah. Then she wore out pretty quick and laid down, took a little nap. But that's a 9-week-old pup. You know what I mean? That's what happens. So, but yeah, as soon as they're big enough that I can get that tracking collar on, we're going to go and we're just going to let them listen and listen and watch and listen and watch, and they'll get brave and they'll get some experience out in the field, moving around, navigating that kind of thing, getting out away from you a little bit so they're not wanting to stay underfoot. And then one day they're just going to go. And one day you'll hear that voice in there. They'll run out to the dogs and they'll fall out. And they'll run out to the dogs and they'll fall out. And then one day that voice that you haven't heard before is in there. And it might not be in there forever. They might still fall out, or they might just go.
Yep.
But the more you take them out, the longer they're going to stay. And then one day they're just going to stay and they're not going to fall out. And, you know, and then you can start running them a little longer. I don't tend to run the puppies more than a couple hours at a time. You can tell sometimes you start pushing a little bit, they're staying in there, and you stay out for 2.5 hours, say, and, you know, they got 10, 12 miles on them, and then all of a sudden that puppy that was doing really well staying out there, they fall out, but they're gassed. You know what I mean? Like, they can't keep up for that long, and you don't want to push them too hard and have them, you know.
Is there a reason behind you keep it? Not saying this, you're going gospel at 2 hours, but is there a reason why when you're working with your pups, you take them out way less of a time, or you don't hunt them quite as long as your seasoned dogs?
Just because I don't want them to get pushed to the point where they start getting like cheating to keep up. You know, I want them to be able to keep it clean. You know what I mean? As clean as least as my pack runs. You know what I mean? But as long as Murphy's still around, he makes them clean it up. He makes them look pretty dumb when they get too loose. He comes right up and cleans that up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another thing that I like is you don't want all your dogs to run exactly the same. A good pack is like a hockey team. You got your forwards and your mid, you know, and defensemen. And Murphy's my defenseman.
Yeah.
You know, he's running, he's cleaning up any loose edges, keeping that puck from getting lost. So.
And that is a super cool analogy, bro. I never even thought about it. So I always related mine to a basketball team.
Yeah.
But even here in hockey, that's even better, you know, not losing that puck, you know, just working it with your team and knowing your position and having that position and being able to play it. That's why I like that pack mentality so good. It's like, again, I agree with you 100%, not having every single dog want to run front, want to push and push and push. Because a lot of times that can create swings, that can create cheating, that can create a lot.
It'll blow everything up. You'll see that a lot in dog trials when you get too many real fast dogs in the same pack, and they'll just blow up the first couple races until they can settle in. So, yeah, you gotta have a happy medium in there. You know what I mean? You can't all be running balls to the wall all the time. So.
And you see that a lot too on videos, and you know I do it some where they got a real hot tracker, they're running it really good. Of course, you're gonna take that video; it's just fun to do. But I've been starting to try to capture the whole hunt, and I know you like take really good videos with your GoPro, bro. I don't have to figure out what settings you use on yours. Mine, you know, I think it's a Hero 13, or I don't know what it is, something like that. Or you're gonna have to help me with trying to figure out the settings because my video looks so far back. You know, I had somebody ask me like, "Why do you need to put the phone down and this?" I'm like, one, I just like running my dogs. If I want to shoot rabbits, I can do that all day long. But two, it's like I like being able to zoom in and the audio and stuff like that from my phone versus the GoPro. I just haven't figured it out yet, man.
One of the things I do with my GoPro is I set it on the narrower view because otherwise it makes everything look really far away. So the narrower view, and I go with the 4K usually, so you get the more because then you can zoom in when I go to edit and pull
Okay.
my clips. So then I can actually zoom in. So then I'll reframe, which will bring it in even closer. And then, yeah, if I need to zoom a little bit so you can get a better picture. Because otherwise, yeah, if you leave it on the just kind of stock settings, you never see the rabbit. You gotta look
No.
super close. It looks like it's a mile away.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just reframing and kind of zooming and making sure you've got the 4K setting on there so that it picks that up. And I can usually get pretty good videos that way. And I just kind of keep to like 1 minute clips just because I like to post it on Instagram and I don't really do like individual reels. I just kind of make a post and put the kind of the highlights.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like otherwise it'd just be a lot of me walking and talking to myself.
That's usually what I do, man. Like,
So-
it's funny. You know, and I got some good feedback on it just because people want to see like the raw footage. You know, like let's say they enjoy rabbit hunting. I've had a guy message me. He's like, hey, I rabbit hunted for years, but I can't walk as much as I used to and that sort of thing. So it's really cool for you to do that. And that's what I'm doing. You feel goofy first, you know, talking to yourself, but they can hear the dogs jump. They can hear the dogs run. You know, if you're in the right spot, they can see the rabbit cross and what the dogs do when the rabbit cross. Because we both know it's not all sunshine rainbows when they come across there. Sometimes they lose it right at the point when you cross.
all the time, or they get just where if you're in competition, they do just enough to where they'd escort it and then they just fall apart. And it's constantly like that. And a lot of that is those mowed trails or those gravel trails or those dirt that like there's just not a lot for the scent to stick to. So you can't hardly hold it against the dogs. Or they come out and the rabbit makes a hard right, and what do? They come out and they come left and just blow it up. And then, you know, luckily Murphy's out there. He usually makes the corner. He's not usually one that's gonna swing or blow it up too bad. So every now and again, though, if they're dragging him, if they're really running hard, then he's just pulling, you know, at that point. And then it's like, Murphy, you're missing. That's not your job, man.
Yeah.
Like, clean it up.
And it's funny, we can talk. It seems like you can talk to these dogs after you've had them for a while, and it's like they kind of know what you're talking. You know.
Oh, I don't even have to talk to him. All I gotta do is shoot him a dirty look. Usually, you know, Murphy knows the dirty look. He'll catch him looking over his shoulder whenever he's in my eyesight. He watching me? Like, I'm watching you like a hawk, dude. Yeah.
Them dogs know, man. That's the beauty of having a pack and running beagles, or just any working dog. Hunting with any dog, man, you get to that point to where they're really your buddies. I mean, they read you, and even before the podcast was started, you mentioned something I want to bring back up because I thought it was a good point. Just the language that these dogs speak to you, and trying to understand as a new person that language. Obviously, I know every dog is different, but when you get to that point, what are some of the things that a bark can tell you, or how that demeanor is?
I mean, yeah. A lot of it's body language. A lot of it's the way they're reacting to it. And like I said, every dog's a little bit different, but I know I can speak the language of each one of my dogs to kind of tell me what's going on. You know, like the other day, they ran a rabbit stiff. They ran a rabbit stiff out in the field, and I knew immediately that that's what happened. Well, one, they ran it for an hour, and they were pushing it pretty hard. But Murphy, Randy, and Odie just kind of stopped on the tracker, and they were just milling around in the exact same spot. But Luke came right back to me. You know what I mean? And that's not a loss. They've been working a check or anything. So I'm like, all right, they caught it. That's a catch. If it was a hole, then I'd hear Murphy go to his little chop mouth and start sounding like a coonhound. And yeah, just ruff, 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 ruff. Okay, it's in a hole. All right. But when they did that, I'm like, yep, it's out there. And yeah, of course, it was 100 yards into the thickest, nastiest stuff. But I'm not going to leave a rabbit lay there. So I beat the brush through there and picked up my rabbit, stuck it in my pouch, and took it home. I don't know why Randy didn't bring it to me. Randy usually retrieves, but I don't know. He hasn't retrieved one for me this year, but they haven't caught a whole lot this year yet. So, and I haven't really been shooting because I've been training puppies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And that's a good point too. So when you're working with pups like that, how soon do you introduce shooting around them? Is it like immediate? Do you wait a little bit, or what is your kind of preference?
The way I do it is I usually let them get running, and once they're staying in for, not really falling out at all, once they're staying in on those races, then I just go them out, get them on a rabbit, and, when they're about 100 yards away, I'll just pop a round off and just watch their reaction. And then if they did okay with that, I'll wait a little bit, try it again, and just wait till they basically ignore it at that range. Then I'll move a little bit closer, and we'll do it again. And then I'll move a little bit, and same thing. Wait until they don't really react to the shot at that, and then I'll just move a little bit closer. And once I can pull the trigger about 25 yards from the dogs, while they're on a hot track, that's the key. They're on the hot track. They're running the rabbit, and once I can shoot within about 25 yards, then they're pretty comfortable with it. I usually start with like a 22, so it's quiet and something subsonic.
Hey, I just really want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting Bawlin Out Kennels, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, if it's on TikTok, if you bought a book, visited the website. I just really want to say thank you. And I want to offer a 10% off on Bawlin Out Kennel apparel. I'm talking about the hoodies, the shirts, long sleeves, short sleeves, sweatshirts, some of the shirts that I'm wearing right now. I just really want to say thank you. If you just go to ballinoutKennels.com, when you go to checkout, again, it's for apparel items only. Just type in BOK25 in the discount code section. You'll get 10% off. Again, it's just my way of saying thank you for supporting. And we're going to continue to keep building this thing. Stay sharp, stay real, stay houndy.
And then if they handle the 22, go to the 410. And I don't really hunt with anything but the 410 hardly anymore. Yep. So that's pretty good for me. But usually if they can do the 410, the 20 is not going to be a big deal either. So, and just one shot at a time. Don't get crazy and start popping, just one, wait for a reaction, and then just keep going. And then they relate that to hunting, you know what I mean? And then they start to relate that to the rabbit being in front of them. Then they hear the gunshot, and they'll
either do two things. One, I got dogs, they'll turn it up a notch. One, they'll start to realize some dogs are so smart. You hunt them, we hunt them year round, regardless. But they start to pick up when you're carrying that gun. They know, when they get to that age, they know exactly what that is. But usually when you first start shooting around them and they're fine with it, like you just about to say, they'll turn it up a notch because they know it's a rabbit down, or hopefully if we do our part.
Yeah.
If we do our part. And then two, you got some dogs, they'll come right to you, you know what I mean? Where they're running a rabbit, they know the shot, oh, he's probably got it, and then they'll come out. Young dogs, they'll come right to you looking for the rabbit. You know?
Yep. And if I missed, I got to be like, no, get back on it, because I need you to go bring it back around again. Maybe I winged it, you know what I mean? And you can find it for me because it's still going. So, yeah.
Have you noticed this now? I've mentioned this to people, and I just want to see if it's just me or maybe just my pack. It very well could be. Sometimes they're running, they've been smoking a rabbit, right? And you go to take a shot, and let's say you missed, and the rabbit keeps going. For some reason, picking up that track after that, mine sometimes have an issue. I never quite figured it out. But have you ever experienced that, or is it just me?
Yep. If you take a shot and you miss, and it's just like it blows that track up, I think you gotta remember that all those pellets are moving, 1,100 feet per second. They just blew right through that scent track, And if you hit behind it or something, you hit the ground, you messed with that trail. You know what I mean? So I think that's what happens is. Plus you got gunpowder and smoke, and I think it's just enough to make them struggle to kind of figure out what happened. And a lot of times those rabbits change direction too.
Well, that too, yeah.
You hit the ground right by them, and they, and so it's a big combination of stuff that's gonna really make it challenging for that pack to keep on it.
And I'm glad it didn't say me, bro. 'Cause, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've noticed that over the years. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes you
No.
do. Like, you take a shot, and they've been running around. I mean, excellent. You know, enough for you to be able to be in a position to shoot them. And you take that shot, and then for whatever reason, it just blows up the whole thing. They can't refind it. You know, I'll just make sure it wasn't me.
No, it's not just you. It definitely happens, and you know,
So I know you. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it makes it so you don't want to take that shot unless you're confident in it. I want that rabbit to be rolling,
Yeah.
and just done, because you take that shot and you mess up the track for the dogs, and then
They'll start looking at you like, man, what'd you do?
well, and if you winged it and it kept running, and that's the word, because they ain't gonna run long once they get a couple
Right.
pellets in them, they go to ground, and then that's just a loss, right? And to me, that's the worst part about hunting. To me, is when you wound one, and it ends up staying out there. I'd rather not take the shot if it's not gonna kill it, because that's a rabbit we could have run later. You know what I mean? I don't want to just kill something that I'm not going to take home with me. So
And you're a dang good cook of rabbits. I don't mean a lot of people probably don't know that, but you definitely can cook some rabbit. Man.
I've had some compliments. I appreciate them. I don't do anything too special. It's love. You know what I mean? I cook with love. That's what I've been told.
That'll
So
do it. So I know you do some, a decent amount of competition. Could you touch on that a little bit for somebody? Okay, I'm getting into rabbit hunting. I got a dog. I've been working. They're at the age now where they're running pretty good, and I want to try to go to my first competition. Do you have some advice for somebody on that realm of rabbit hunting with beagles?
I guess just go. Just go. Especially the crowd that we've got going, at least in the UKC format that I run in, that my club hosts, Mid Iowa Beaglers hosts, and Southeast Iowa Beaglers is another Iowa club that hosts, and there's one down in kind of north central or northeast Missouri that's not a real far drive either. Josh Byers and Dan Osborne run, and it's just a good group of guys. They're friendly. It's not overly intimidating. They're real welcoming to new people. So that would be, we're happy to have people come out. We'll teach you, you know what I mean? We'll help you out. Nobody's gonna get, just come out. It can be intimidating. It definitely seems way more intimidating than it should, but and it's a great way to network. I've met so many beaglers in competition that I probably never would have met off of Facebook or anywhere else, and got some contacts, and got some future prospects for my breeding program that way too. Dogs that I think are going to fit well with what I've got for that next generation. You know what I mean?
And you definitely got to be looking for the future as far as that go too. But even with the competition, is there some things that they can start practicing before even going to a comp?
For anything that's hound and hunter formats like UKC or PKC, where you're calling your dog strikes, just be able to pick your dog's voice. You know what I mean? So go out with your pack. You got 2-3 dogs. Be able to tell which one is which, and do it consistently. You know what I mean? And if you go out with somebody else, be practicing that. Always be, all right, Lou. And that's something I'm always doing is, all right, strike Lou. All right, let's strike Odie. You know what I mean? And just constantly figuring out which dog is the one that's given voice right now.
And so we both typically run in the UKC format. So when we say like strike a dog, for new people listening, it's pretty much when that dog starts barking on a rabbit track. You believe in that he's running a rabbit, you have to enter into the race or the competition that's going. That's how your dog gets put in. That's basically telling the judge, hey, my dog's in the game now by striking him in. This is his bark. I hear him. Coach, he's in the game.
Yeah.
And then as the rabbits are going, you have a group of 4 people. the dogs have to circle a rabbit, to get it scored on. At least majority of a circle to get scored on.
Yeah.
The team or the group that you're with, they're going to spread out and try to get eyes on this rabbit.
Yep.
So once they do, they're going to mark the line. Basically, a line is where you see your rabbit cross in the brush, on a trail, or something. It has to be some type of marker, right?
Yep.
You want to take over a little bit more than.
Yeah, I mean, that's how UKC and PKC and ABC are basically scored, as those strike positions get you points, and then wherever you saw that rabbit, when those dogs come through that line, that order is going to get points based on the position, and so you want them to be first, obviously. And then there's some variations in there from those formats on how they score the other things. Like I don't even think PKC has checks. You have to, don't quote me on that because I don't run that format, but I'm just kind of looked at it a little bit. But in UKC, a minute of silence, then they're in check, and then whoever recovers it gets 20 points type of deal. So there's a few other things, but if you go out there, they're going to work through it. They'll give you can get a scorecard, a booklet with all the rules, and read through it and kind of figure out what's going on. And then go out and practice. Just run little mock trials with your dogs or with your friends' dogs and keep score. And if you have any questions, go to your rule book. If you can't figure it out, send me a message. I'll talk you through it. Send Jason a message. Send somebody that's involved in the clubs a message. They'll help you figure out how you would have scored that situation. And if you do enough of those little faux hunts and faux scorekeeping, that's how you figure it out. And then eventually you'll get good enough that they'll ask you to judge and do things like that.
And I would definitely have to second it, man, because the networking part, I think you hit it right on the head, in my opinion. It just gives you so many other people. One, they have the same interests you do, if nothing else. You get to see a variety of different dogs. And even if you're to a point where, you're going out there and you want to get into it, just go.
Yeah.
Don't even have a dog. Just kind of go and see how it works. That's what I did when I first got started. Trying to remember the kennel. Or not the kennel, the club down in Brush, or
BC.
That's it. Yeah. There was a club down in southern Iowa, in the Des Moines area. People probably don't know, but there was a club down there, and Daniel Ray was the one who took me on my first trial. I didn't have a dog. I messaged him, hey, I want to see how, because he was winning a lot.
He's a nice guy too.
The nicest dude, man. And I went on the first trial with him. I didn't have a dog. I rode with him. Talked to me the whole time. It was very inviting, community that they had going on down there. And that's how I got into it. It's because somebody in the club is just like, hey, I'll take you. You go with me. And he was the president of the club at the time.
Oh, okay.
He didn't have to do that, and it was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's one of the things I would tell people too. Just go. If you have an opportunity or you have a club fairly close to you, just go. And when you get there, they'll ask, hey, you got to sign in. You say, hey, I'm new. I don't know what's going on. You will be amazed how inviting people will be because that's how the club survives. They got to get new people.
Yeah, and we'll help you out. It's no questions asked. We'll help you out, and it's a great place to network. Like I said, you'll meet people that they'll invite you to go hunt with them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, so yeah,
there's definitely an opportunity. Don't miss out on that. Man, Ryan, I appreciate you, bro. Like, it's been go ahead.
Oh, and if you come to our hunts, I usually feed you, and I cook a mean rabbit stew. I've heard, or
No, I've had some of it. You 1000% do. You hook up some rabbit, man. You definitely do some different stuff. Like you're like me, man. To where if there's anything that I can do with chicken, I'm gonna try it with rabbit. Like I've made rabbit meatloaf. I've made rabbit fajitas.
Bunny burgers.
Man, and I haven't tried that yet.
Oh, I grind them with a pound of bacon. I take about 3 good sized rabbits and I grind them with a pound of bacon, and then just burger patties. And I like to season them a little bit, salt, pepper, a little garlic, whatever you like on your burger, and then do some smash burgers, smash burger, bunny burgers. My wife is Korean, and some bulgogi marinade. Oh yeah, make some bulgogi marinade in there. Make some bulgogi bunny burgers. Heck yeah. Then put a little kimchi and cheese and melt the. Oh,
Man, you salivating, man. You getting it all over the mic.
I gotta make some bunny burgers one of these. We just moved, so all my kitchen stuff is just packed. You know what I mean? But I gotta get unpacked.
Yeah. Because that's definitely, man. It gets to a point where one dealing with these dogs and the network you come in and the relationship that you grow with these dogs. We're gonna harvest rabbits. Like, don't get me wrong. We're gonna, harvest rabbits throughout the season. We're gonna eat them. We're gonna cook them. But it gets to a point too to where it's even beyond the harvest, man. It's really one spending time out there with your dogs. That's your team. That's your group. But then also we start getting messages of other people wanting to go. I get so much more enjoyment. I've done mentorship hunts and stuff like that. Bro, I think you'd be excellent at that if you don't already do it. But just trying to get those new people. I get so much more enjoyment when somebody else gets their first rabbit on my dogs, or I get to take them and they've never been. They get to see how it works. You see that excitement go on.
I haven't done a lot of mentored hunts yet. I've thought about it. I get a little nervous with people I don't know shooting guns around my dogs. You know what I mean? I just don't know how their gun safety is. So that's my biggest bugaboo on it. If I had a chance to maybe get to know them a little bit more, come out, run with me, absolutely. Once I know you can handle a gun appropriately and not take those real close shots. For me, we don't jump shoot. No.
There you go.
So,
you want to touch on that, and that's a great point that you just brought up right there. If you want to touch on that a little bit further on what is jump shooting, or what is it?
Jump shooting is just basically that, dog sticks his nose in a brush pile and that rabbit shoots out and you just boom, pop it right off the dog's nose. That's a jump shot. You know what I mean? I used to hunt with my lab mix, and that's the only way you do it because they aren't going to circle the rabbit. You know what I mean? That's the only way you can do it with certain breeds of dogs. But with beagles, they're going to bring it back around, so there's no reason to do that. Plus, when you got multiple dogs on the ground, and I have a video that I posted from last season, which is exactly why you don't jump shoot. But dogs jumped a rabbit right here, and it ran this way, and then they sound off on it. And then the dogs that were just over here pulled those dogs. And about the time that rabbit ran in front of me, Sweet Lou was right behind it. And I couldn't have seen her. There's no way I'd have seen her. But we don't jump shoot. But if I'd have tried to jump shoot that rabbit, I'd have nailed my dog. And I was like, yep, that's why you don't jump shoot. Yep.
And that is such a crucial point. Safety in the dogs. I'm pretty sure you get the same question I do. That's one fear that a lot of people have when they're just getting started. Man, will I shoot my dog, or how far is the dog close to the rabbit? We run fairly fast dogs, but there's usually a decent amount of gap to where you can wait. That's the beauty of hunting with beagles. They're going to give you more opportunities to shoot the rabbit.
If in doubt, don't take the shot. I was out with my friend Marissa and her two dogs the other day, and she just didn't know how far the dogs were behind them. She probably would have been okay to take the shot, but she wasn't sure, and so no big deal. Let it run. There's plenty of rabbits out there. If you really want rabbit meat that bad, I got some in the freezer. So I'd rather you can have some. I'll give it to you rather than take a shot that you're just not sure about. But most of the time, I figure the dogs are typically about 60 yards back. So as long as you're not shooting a super tight choke and a super long reach and load, you're gonna pretty much be okay most of the time. If they're really pushing it right on its butt or right out of a check, if it's right out of a check, it's that's that jump shooting stuff again. Just let them get it going again. Don't shoot them right out of a check like that, because it's just coming off the dog's nose. Dogs are spread out. So, yep.
That's the main part, because that's the last thing you want to do is you spend all this time, or somebody else's dogs, you spend all this time with them, get them to where you want to be, and they can all be gone in one instant. So safety is huge. And even when I do like the mentor hunts and whatnot, I go through a whole safety brief, man. and a lot of them already have hunter safety and it's
Yeah.
through the DNR, so they do great as far as some of that stuff. But that is definitely, even new people I've never hunted with, adults, even if, they got dogs too and I've never hunted with you, bro, we still going, I'm going to tell you how I hunt my safety. And if there is a situation where that safety is not upheld, then, I'm done.
We're done. We're
I'm
done. Yeah, absolutely. And, we've all, you're getting started. It's really easy to get itchy and you just think you're going to take that shot because you're not sure when you're going to get another one. And, as I've done it, and you've got, ooh, that was close. You know what I mean? I didn't realize it was that close. And you're like, wow, and that really kind of opens your eyes when you do that. And you're like, that could have been bad if I was a little bit slower, if that dog was a little bit faster, or those things develop and you didn't really realize it, and so you just get, unfortunately, sometimes those near misses are what gets it in, and it's not worth it. So that's one of those experience things, I think, and it's hard with I think especially with young people and new people, just don't have it yet. So it's kind of nerve-wracking, but yeah.
That's where a good mentor comes in. So if there's somebody out there, you got a club close or somebody who rabbit hunts with dogs, you can get in contact with them. There's so much you can learn outside of just, shooting rabbit. I mean, that's part of it. You can learn safety, learn dog work. Finding a mentor is super key. And that's one thing I want some of our new listeners to take on. If nothing else, you reach out to us. We'll try to give you as much information. You guys know that, hey, if it's something I know, I got no problem with sharing it. If I don't know, we're going to learn something together. So, Brian, I know you got to hit the road, man. I appreciate you doing this. I know we tried to do it earlier in the summer.
Yeah, it's been nuts with we sold our old house, or we're in the process of selling. It's on offer, and bought 10 acres. So I got my own little Beagle ranch.
There you go.
And really got a lot of work to do, but it's been a busy summer because I had to get that old house sold. So I'm pretty house poor right now. Yep, paying 2 mortgages for the last 6 months.
Man,
So yeah,
it's light at the end of the tunnel, bro.
yeah, I just paid the last one. I think we're going to be closed by the end of the month, so I can start spending all my money on my dogs like it was meant to be.
So if you want to tell people where they can, reach you or follow you or something.
Oh, yeah. You can follow me on Instagram, at Dirty Beagles, that's where I post most things. I'll cross-post it to Facebook, so you can follow me, Ryan Elson, on Facebook. You can find me there. I do have a YouTube page, but I don't post much. I've been kind of thinking about expanding into that. Yeah, and you
Does the club have
the club has a page too, Mid Iowa Beaglers, where we keep you updated on like club events and the state of Iowa stuff and everything too. So yeah, definitely follow that. Follow Jason's club down in Southeast Iowa, and they'll.
What's the name of that?
Southeast Iowa Beagle Club. Southeast Iowa Beagle Club and Mid Iowa Beaglers are the 2 active clubs. There was a club in Columbus Junction that the Reeds are kind of talking about taking over, Isaiah and Chandler. So hopefully there's a 3rd UKC club in the state still. They're talking about maybe running over by Hawkeye Wildlife.
Oh, really?
Out of North Liberty.
Yep.
And moving it to North Liberty. So.
Know that place very well.
Oh, that place is huge, and there's so many rabbits. You could run that place every day for a month and not even begin to scratch the surface. It's great. So
That's
yeah.
a good place. We hunt quite a bit. But no, I appreciate you. Like I said, I appreciate you doing it, man, and sharing a lot of knowledge. Like I said, it's pretty cool. Obviously, we started together and seeing what you're doing with your club and how successful you've been with your dogs, man. It's super cool, and the family's doing it. It's so cool to see, man. So I hope listeners out there, hope you took some value from what we were talking about there. Just sharing what we love to do with other people. Because again, we are so much better together than we are apart, and that's what it's all about. So I'm Stevie Thomas for Bawlin Out Kennels. Stay sharp, stay real, stay houndy.